I was recently asked the question, why do I care so much about the whole trans, queer, non-binary thing? And the truth is, for the most part, I don't. I honestly believe the vast majority of people are just trying to live their lives as best they can. And because I'm in a band, I travel around the country a lot and I meet a hell of a lot of people, including a lot of trans, queer and non-binary types. And for the most part, it's absolutely fine. Now, let's be clear here. I was at a gig last year. There were a group of women, one of whom was a trans woman. And let's be blunt, they're always easy to spot because I'm just under 6 feet tall, so I'm taller than most women. I'll demonstrate. Eye contact, nice to meet you. Eye contact, nice to meet you. Eye contact, nice to meet you. No, the people that interest me are the hardliners, the TQ cult, those who keep pushing their agenda onto younger and younger children and trying to manipulate the rest of society to go along with their warped agenda. So today we're going to be revisiting the transbians, and if you're not familiar with that term, I'll roll back a bit first. It used to be, before the term transgender was in common usage, there were transsexuals, who were people with a horrible mental illness that made them feel uncomfortable in their own skin, often requiring years of therapy and surgery. And then there were transvestites. These are fetishists. The correct term is autogynephilia. These are men who get off by going to women-only spaces, dressing as women, and being treated as women, or at least in the way they think women should be treated. So a transbian generally is a cross-dressing man who thinks he's a homosexual woman. Or rather, these are men who think that gay women will be attracted to them. Now, given that for the most part they can't pull straight women, I don't know why the fuck they think that a gay woman will be attracted to them rocking up with a raging erection. So let's kick off with a short clip that I want to call Transbians Say the Funniest Things.
Honestly, at this point, talking to a man and not killing him is a form of gender-affirming care.
You may find it hard to believe, but that individual, like the other transbians we'll see, was actually born a man. So, feeling good about oneself because he hasn't committed murder. Today, at least. Murder, of course, is a very male-dominated activity. Not a good thing if you're trying to pass yourself off as a homosexual woman. But what a fucking mindset you have to be in to not only think, today I haven't murdered anyone, but record yourself saying that out loud and post it on the internet. Who knows, maybe Ted Bundy was secretly a trans woman doing a hell of a lot of gender-affirming care. Next we'll see a TikTok stitch of a transbian reacting to a lesbian, and the lesbian doesn't want straight males in female-only spaces. I will say she's a very pretty lesbian, like the ones you see on Pornhub.
A few days ago, I was physically assaulted by a straight guy in a gay bar.
Cisgender women, please, please, please be extra careful when talking about this topic, because I know what you're talking about, you know what you're talking about, but TERFs don't know what you're talking about. Because when you say straight guy in a lesbian bar, TERFs are going to think of me. They're going to think of my trans ass. And I know that's not what you meant. But when a TERF hears there was a guy in a lesbian bar harassing women, assaulting women, they're going to think of a trans person because they're just transphobic. That's the way it works. So just be a little extra careful, because if you're not, it's going to come to bite me in the ass and the other troons out there. So just much love, queer love all around. Be extra careful, okay?
So our new transbian friend doesn't want to be tarred with the same brush, as it were, to be labelled as a sex pest. However, there's a reason that many people would think that he would be the issue. And that's because when it comes to being, I'll get round the algorithm, a Rex offender or grapist, trans women are 5 times more likely to commit these terrible offences than the average man in the street, and 50 times more likely than the average woman. Not only that, but if he's going into a female-only space, a lesbian bar, a DNA man, then he is the fucking threat. From time to time, I actually frequent a lesbian bar. I don't put on a wig and a dress and call myself Veronica. It's because, as part of the local music scene, I'm helping to organise a pride event for either this year or next year. That's how nice I am. I'm a pillar of the fucking community. Yet, When I'm in that bar, I'm very aware that I'm male. If anyone is a danger to anyone in there, it's me. Also, I try not to stare. Although one time there were two Spanish girls absolutely all over each other, and I thought my browsing history has come to life. On a serious note, on the occasions when I find myself in what is usually a female-only space, I am hyper aware not to come across as threatening or intimidating. I give all the females there their space because it is their space. Yet now we'll see another transbian who doesn't seem to understand this and is creepy as fuck.
This video is specifically about lesbians and lesbianism and womanhood. This is just a hot take, don't crucify me, but I feel like a lot of lesbianism being tied around what parts you have down there is weird. I see many jokes from specifically cis lesbians who say being a lesbian is about not wanting you know what, right? I can't say it on here. But like they'll make that the entire personality around lesbianism. I'm a trans lesbian who has not had bottom surgery. And I'm not insecure. I'm not insecure about the parts that I have down there. But I do feel unsafe when I go into lesbian spaces, like a lesbian bar, because there are certain people who still believe in the whole ideology of clocking and being clocked. And it's just weird, right? It's just weird. Personally, I don't trust it when people use the assigned gender at birth outside of its appropriate context. So when I see like lesbian bars or like lesbian oriented things that are AFAB only, it makes me feel a little unsafe, a little weird.
We heard him say that lesbianism and womanhood, when being tied to what you have down there, oh, he can't say what it is, it's your penis, mate. We all know it's your penis. That's weird. Is that weird? Or is it more weird that you have a DNA man who has admitted he's fully intact, going to a space for homosexual women, women who are not attracted to men, and trying to pull them whilst openly admitting he's got a dick? And he mentioned jokes made by cis lesbians. There aren't cis lesbians, mate. There are lesbians. There are homosexual women. And there are men like you trying to pull them. You're just being a really creepy pervert. As for his comment that there are lesbians who make being lesbians their entire personality, that is fucking rich coming from a member of the TQ cult. These people who have no personalities. His personality, if he has one, is fucking deranged. He's a man who's convinced himself he's a gay woman. I don't care how much of a woman he thinks he is. When he's 50, he's still getting a doctor's finger up his arsehole. And that he doesn't feel safe in lesbian spaces. The fucking irony of it, the lack of self-awareness. He's the person making everyone else feel unsafe. What an utter wanker. And he is a wanker because he's got a cock. So finally we have another transbian. And my God, this one is even less convincing than the others. But this individual is getting angry because women aren't helping trans women's rights.
What really pisses me off is that these cisgendered women all over the world, they cry and they welcome our help, the transgender community, non-binary community, for decades. Hell, centuries, for that matter. Because transgender women and men and non-binary people have existed for centuries. Centuries. And we stood shoulder to shoulder next to all of these ungrateful women in this country and other countries, helping to fight for them to get the rights they deserve. And then when we need their help, they turn their backs on us. They say they owe us nothing. When we've been giving them our help and sacrificing for them, hell, even our transgendered veterans are sacrificing for them. Where are they? Where's their help?
Yeah, those cisgendered women crying who welcomed their help for decades, for centuries, because trans and non-binary people have existed for centuries. First ever sex change, 1931 in Germany. And precisely what help has the trans movement done for actual women? I want that moaning dickhead to show me the photos of the trans women standing with the suffragettes, or campaigning for equal pay, or the right to compensation, or the right to financial settlement following a divorce. As usual, it's a trans woman showing mind-blowing levels of fucking misogyny. But he said they stood shoulder to shoulder. And now that the trans women need women's help, the women have turned their back. Where's their help? The irony is that in the Western world, if you're trans, you are the most protected group of people anywhere in society. Trans women can compete in women's sports, can enter women's spaces, they're having the language changed to accommodate for them whilst erasing women. They have more rights than anyone else, and in particular, they're taking the rights away from the people they're pretending to be. That was a very angry video, wasn't it? Not many jokes today, I do apologise for that. But if you have enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe, and as ever, thanks for watching. Is it? I'm so hung up on the whole trans, queer, non-binary thing. And, because it's the fucking gift that keeps on giving. Straight people in female-only spaces. Now, this lesbian is one of the pretty ones, like you see on Pornhub. Oh, fucked it. Bollocks. Time to time, I do actually frequent a fucking hell, that's a new one. They stood shoulder to shoulder with women. Not shoulder to shoulder, most of them are about a fucking yard taller. Organising a pride event that will take place either this year or next year. I'm also playing a gig to raise money for a woman's charity. I do these nice things to try and balance out what an utter bastard I am the rest of the time. Sex change, 1931 in Germany. Not the worst thing to happen in 30s Germany. An angry video. Shit.